Welcome back to Everyday Iowa. Yesterday, I got the chance to have a conversation with Cedar Rapids author and native Ellen Krug, who just released her second book, Being Ellen, A Second Chance at Life, before her author event at Whipple Auditorium tonight. Take a look.
So I have the dubious distinction of being the first lawyer in Iowa to ever transition genders. I did that in 2009. And when I came out in 2009 in Cedar Rapids, transgender people weren't very visible. And I've always been a writer at heart, but I really couldn't write when I wasn't living authentically. And so once I transitioned genders, I decided that I would write a coming out book. And that's titled Getting to Ellen, a memoir about love, honesty, and gender change. It took me 4 years to write it, but it was published in 2013. And then I had intended that I would then write a second book about what is it like to actually go and live in your true gender. My true gender is female, for a decade and a half. And so that's actually what I've done. And my second book, Being Ellen, A Second Chance at Life, came out in July. And what the book does is it documents what all of the challenges and some of the joys that I've had by finally being able to live as me.
Did you find it difficult to write at first, or was it therapeutic? How did you go about starting? Because I'm sure it's so personal.
Well, I've always been a journal writer. I mean, even going all the way back to high school and in my days at college. So I've always journaled. I probably have 25 or 30 journals. But I had to go and learn how not to write like a lawyer and actually learn how to write like a human.
Do you find there's a lot of individuals in your situation reaching out to you to hear more about your story or just for guidance?
Yeah, so one of the purposes, certainly, of the first book was really to help people, people who are transitioning genders, people who are struggling with their gender identity, folks, family members who, suddenly have a new person in their life that they didn't expect, how to be welcoming to them. And so, yes, I mean, I've had multiple people, many people reach out to me in response to the first book. I mean, what happens with many transgender people is that when we transition, we lose people. I mean, people decide that they're not going to accept the real you. And in the second book, Being Ellen, I write about losing people. I lost my sister. I lost my oldest daughter. But thankfully, both of them came back to me.
Oh, great.
I have a rule about, I urge people who are in my situation who lose folks, I urge them to keep their heart open rather than to shut it and say, well, you're hurting me, I'm going to hurt you back. I urge them to actually keep their heart open. It hurts like heck.
Oh, yeah.
But when you keep your heart open, it makes it easier for someone to come back. So hopefully, as I've written about that in the book, that will be an example for other folks to also keep their hearts open.
That's a hard thing to do, honestly.
It is.
Difficult, yeah.
And, the thing that most transgender people face is the question of whether to be true to themselves, to who they truly are, or to be true to someone else who wants them to be a person that they're really not. That is the big struggle, because people don't want to give up love. They don't want to give up security. And many times when somebody transitions genders, they lose their job. They may lose the place where they live. They may lose family members. And so it's very, very difficult. And that's why some people don't transition, but then they suffer their entire lives. And unfortunately, the attempted suicide rate and the actual suicide rate for transgender people, because they've been unable to live as who they truly are, is extraordinarily high.
Well, most people want to be accepted, but they also want to be accepted for who they truly are.
They do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody who's listening to me or seeing my image here, everyone wants to feel whole. They want to live a life that is complete, where they are, true to who they truly are. And most people want to be seen that way. Okay?
Absolutely.
And we suffer when we can't do that. And that's not the case just with transgender people. It's with anybody.
So you have an event coming up at Whipple Auditorium with we call him our book bestie here at Everyday Iowa, Bart from Next Page Books. Is also sponsored by CR Pride. Tell us about the event.
Well, it's going to be at 6:30 at the public library. I'll be reading from my book. I will be taking some questions from the audience, and then my understanding is we'll be selling some books afterwards. Both of my books will be available for sale.
Are there questions that you encourage people to ask if they know someone who's transgender or someone who feels like they may be, wanting to transition? Are there questions that they should ask?
Well, there are a couple of statements they should make. One is that I love you. I care about you regardless.
That's great.
I want you to be happy. You can trust me. Though, I mean, all of those phrases are incredibly important. And again, we get back to this human need, whether you're transgender or not, this human need to just simply live our lives whole without anybody bothering us. That's all that really transgender people want.
Your event is tonight.